Hey guys, Joe here of Sports Grid. Welcome to Puck It with Joe. Just had to get the IG Live going there. IG Live is up and going. So thank you guys for joining me over there. And thank you everyone over here on Sports Grid TV X. It's great to have this show today. We got 9 games in action on the ice. And I tell you, we've got some games that we're able to make some money on. Now, I hope you guys tailed yesterday on the Florida Panthers. That game made us some freaking money. We got the Florida Panthers on the money line as a dog, plus 150 to plus 155, depending on where you grab them. And then we also hit that 3+ shots on goal parlay. And that one was between Jack Hughes, Toffoli, and Kachuk. That coming in at plus 167. So coming in today, I do have a couple of 3+ shot parlays that we're going to throw out there. I've got 2 of them, one in the Edmonton game, the other one in the Tampa Bay Lightning game. So stay around. You want to get those plus money parlays in those same games there. But we will be taking a couple of those players at 3+ shots on goal. So you guys, it's time to jump right into these games. I'm trying to make this show as quick as possible for you guys. And remember, anyone over watching on IG, if you want to go back and watch the full show, if you're just jumping in, make sure you go over to Twitter X for Sports Grid and you'll be able to replay the show over there. So the first game we're looking at here is the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this is an interesting one here with the Canucks off 2 hard games versus the Edmonton Oilers. We know they're able to get the win in both of those games. And I know a lot of people, because Edmonton lost their first 2, are saying, well, Edmonton is due to win. Don't buy into that. I tell you, we'll get to that game in a minute, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Looking at the Vancouver Canucks. So they're coming in at minus 134 here on the road over the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Flyers coming in at plus 112. This is a good opportunity for us to look at the home dog here in the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the line has been moving on this as money has been coming in on the Vancouver Canucks. And yes, I give them credit for what they were able to do versus Edmonton, but I do think this took a lot out of this team. This will be their second road game now, with their last one being in Edmonton. That total of 6.5 is juiced to the under. Demko and Carter Hart expected in goal. I think the value here is on the Philadelphia Flyers at home, and I'm willing to grab them with that beautiful plus money in this situation. When we look at these 2 teams up or matched up, the home team has won 6 of the last 8 meetings. And I just think with how the Canucks had to play Edmonton to get those wins, they're going to be tired coming into this one. Now, the Canucks have also struggled in Philly. They struggled versus the Flyers. They're only winning 2 of the last 7 meetings in Philadelphia. So you guys, we got to look at this in hockey betting. Those trends stay so true. I also think this is a game where you look at this one staying under that total. It's juiced at minus 122 to the under 6.5, but I would look at that before I looked at this one going over. I really do think Carter Hart has glimpses of elite in these games. And I do think this is one in front of that home crowd, his first game out of the season at home. We will see that in this one. Now, when we look at both of these teams, Edmonton struggled to get those shots on goal versus the Vancouver Canucks, averaging just 24 shots on goal. The defense here of the Flyers is going to have to come out really hard because they have allowed 3.5 and 32 shots on goal. So we're going to need them to stand up nice and tall, but I do have faith that they're able to get it done. Flyers and the over for Johnny. Okay, you're going to ride that over. I think I'm going to go on the under in this one if I had to. Again, looking at the props, I would caution you for taking those shots on goal for the Vancouver Canucks, because they were limited to those 24 shots on goal in that last game. They were able to, or they did allow a lot of shots though. Let's look at the next game here. We have the Minnesota Wild taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Current odds on this one: Montreal, the home dog, at plus 118, minus 142 for the Minnesota Wild, total of 6.5. Now you're getting plus money to that over at plus 110. This one is clear cut and dry for me. It's the Minnesota Wild all day long. So that money line minus 142, it's not out of where I would pay for the Minnesota Wild here. I think it's a pretty fair price. Fleury is confirmed in goal for the Minnesota Wild, and I expect him to stand on his head versus Montreal here. Fleury versus Montreal in his career is 26, 13, and 6 with a 2.39 goals against average. So he's been able to be strong versus the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Sam Montembeault expected in goal for Montreal, and I do have more faith in him than Jake Allen. So I do think he can help us with this game being a lower scoring one. But that being said, these teams do know how to put up the points. We've seen Montreal averaging the 4 goals per game so far this season, and the Wild 3. They had a little bit of struggles versus the Maple Leafs, but they still got 4 on the board in that game. So I do think this is one. Just take a Montreal, the Minnesota Wild to get the win. Someone is like outside my house right now, distracting me. But I would look at the Wild in 60 minutes. If you look at the Minnesota Wild in 60 minutes with the no push, no chance to go to overtime here, they're coming in at plus 110. So you are getting value. I do think the Wild are able to get it done in 60 minutes. I am so glad with those bets yesterday. Let's have another hot day, Kelly. That is for sure. Okay, and the next game on the board, let's just pull it up here. Current odds on the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning plus 108 right now. Buffalo Sabres minus 130. Total of 6.5, juiced so highly to that over minus 152. If you can find a 7 out there and get plus money, which you should be able to do, I would take the 7. This one has 5-4 kind of score written all over it in this one. So 6.5 minus 152. I don't love the juice that we're paying, but an over 7 at plus money, I do. When we look at both of these teams, both teams are allowing these goals to come in. Johansson confirmed again in goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning. This team is allowing an average on the season of 4.67 goals per game and 37 shots on goal. And then we look at the Buffalo Sabres here. Levi expected 4 goals per game. This team is allowing with 30 shots on goal. Now, yes, you might say the Buffalo Sabres haven't been getting those goals on these teams, only averaging that 1.5. I hear you on that, but I do think this team at home in this one, we see that offensive explosion that we know this team is quite capable of. Now, Tag Thompson has yet to record a point. I do think he comes out phenomenally strong in this one. 4+ shots on goal for him is coming in at minus 108. That anytime goal at plus 135. He's yet to record any points this season in their 2 games, and this is a player who had 47 goals and 47 assists last season. I do see those points registering in, especially against the Tampa Bay Lightning's defense, who has been allowing 37 shots on goal per game. This defense really needs to step up if they want to win this game, but I don't see them stepping up here in this situation. I really do think that they struggle in this one. So what I'm going to look at here is a couple things. This is one where I have the same game parlay of the 3+ shots. Stamkos is day-to-day with a back injury. So just to note that for the Lightning, the 3 players I'm going to isolate here. Tage Thompson for the 3+ shots on goal. Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 3+ shots on goal. And then Braden Hagel here for the 3+ shots on goal. So those 3 guys combined together is coming in at plus 390. Now, Brandon Hagel of the Lightning, you can bet him separately, 3+ shots on goal, minus 138. So not too much juice. And then the same with Braden Point, his 3+ shots on goal, minus 140. It is Tage Thompson throwing him into that parlay where you're laying the extra juice. But I do like the 3 of them. And Tage Thompson, I like up to that 4+ shots on goal as well at minus 108. But within the parlay, I would just do the 3+, and you're still getting plus 309 on that over on FanDuel. So that is my same game shots on goal parlay for these 2 teams. The first period over 1.5 is juiced at minus 160. Both teams to score in the first period plus 136. You gotta think the Buffalo Sabres on their home ice here are gonna open up with those goals in this game. I really do believe it. I also think you look at a goal in the first 5 minutes. I don't care who gets his goal in the first 5 minutes. I do think with these defenses, with this goaltending matchup here, we see it. Now that's coming in at plus 148. So I would caution you for taking both teams to score in the first period and the the goal in the first 5 minutes because you're kind of really doubling up on that first period. But I do like both of those bets there. And I think this is a clear over game, over the 7, over the 6.5. Like I said, I expect 5-4. Now, the Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5 is minus 110. I expect them to be able to go over this number as well. That's coming in at minus 110. So give me a huge over game here in this one, you guys. I don't think you can go wrong. The first period, yeah, over the 1.5, over the 2 in the first period, James, I absolutely like. And you're looking for the Lightning to bounce back, and I would like to see them bounce back, but here's the problem with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They just are not getting that support defensively, and we know goaltending-wise, they are showing their struggles. So I if the Sabres had been able to get a lot of goals on the board coming into this one here at home, I would think, okay, maybe this is one where the Lightning's going to steal it, but not with how poorly we've seen the Buffalo Sabres come out of the gate as well. I do think this is one where we see the Sabres finally get back into good rhythm here. So the next game on the board, you guys, let me just pull up current odds. We have the Arizona Coyotes at plus 152 versus the New York Islanders minus 184. Now, these Coyotes played last night. Tired legs is going to be a thing. That total of 5.5 juice to the over at minus 122. I love what we've seen out of the Arizona Coyotes so far. Back-to-back loss here, though, to the New York Rangers last night. Low-scoring game. So they were able to keep the Rangers from blowing them out of the water, which is surprising for this Coyotes team. We're seeing lots of improvement in this team this season. Looking at Clayton Keller, he's a strong person to look at for those shots on goal points in this game for Arizona, as well as Logan Cooley. I like what we've seen out of both of them. Then looking at the Islanders, they did win their first game at home, but they've had some time here. And I think with Arizona on a back-to-back, the only way I can look is the New York Islanders. The problem here with the Islanders, minus 184 on the money line, which has gone from minus 178 last night. I would look maybe at the first period for the Islanders to come out strong. There's a bet called a three-way no push bet on FanDuel you can take, so you're getting some plus money. It means if this one finishes 0-0 in the first period, you don't win it. You don't get that push on the money line like you would if you just took the Islanders on the money line with these teams both not scoring. I think the Islanders can score in that first period and hold off the Arizona Coyotes. So the three-way no push is coming in at plus 145 for the Islanders to win that first period. It's kind of like the puck line there as well. So I do like that. They need to win that first one. Brock Nelson looking really strong out there for them as well. And I'd look at that first period under 1.5. I do think we struggle to see more than 2 goals in that first period. I think 1 goal comes by the Islanders, and that's about it. As Arizona, like I said, on that back-to-back. To me, this game screams under, and I know it's a 5.5. The under 5.5 is coming in at plus 100. What I would do in this one is you got to hope the Islanders come out quick and score if you want this total to go up and then to bet it to the under. What's going to happen is if we get in 10 minutes into that period, that total is going to drop to 5 and we're still going to be laying juice. So I would wait on that, hoping the Islanders score right away, and then we can take a lower total to the under. Peter here liking Arizona plus the 1.5, and you're still getting Arizona at okay money with plus 1.5. It's minus 166, so a little out of what I'd like to pay, but I understand. And Johnny rolling with the Arizona Coyotes there for the straight up win. I don't know if I can do it. Not on the back-to-back here. That defense needs to limit their opponent's ability to get those shots on goal. They're allowing 36 shots on goal per game in that one. And we know the Islanders come out so strong defensively. The next game on deck, we're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Nashville Predators. The Oilers minus 138, the Preds plus 115, total of a 6.5 in this one, you guys. The the Preds plus 1.5 you can't do, minus 200, minus 1.5 for the Oilers, plus 164. I would look at alternative puck lines here for the Nashville Predators, laying the 1.5. I think they have every ability to get the win. Goaltender still up in the air for the Edmonton Oilers, Skinner or Campbell. And I hear everyone screaming, Edmonton can't lose again. Edmonton's getting out on the road. We know how much better they were on the road in a lot of situations last season. I'm not buying it. This Edmonton team looks an absolute mess. And what is the mess about Edmonton? It's not their defense, to be honest with you. The defense held Vancouver to only 24 shots on goal. Look at how many goals Vancouver scored on that average of 24 shots on goal. This team's allowing 6 goals per game on average. This is not the recipe to be able to get the win. Skinner or Campbell, still an unknown who will be in goal tonight. And both of them absolutely letting in every single thing that comes at them in these games. Then we look at the Nashville Predators. We're getting plus money with them at home. They were plus 128 just this morning. So money is definitely moving this line. Saros, I believe in. Now he's had 9 career games versus the Edmonton Oilers. He's gone 3-4-1 in those 9 games with a 2.69 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.96 or 0.926. He looks phenomenal versus the Oilers, and you can't say that about Skinner or Campbell. They're going to need so much support from their defenses because these goals are going to sink from the Predators team, sitting 1-2 on the season. I would look at the Predators to be able to get the win way before I'd look at the Edmonton Oilers. It's kind of like the Oilers need to come out and they need to prove to me that they can get things done, and they're not proving it to me. Now, Edmonton has done so strong against Nashville Predators, going 8-1 in the last 9 meetings, but look at them in Nashville. 9-19 in the last 28 meetings in Nashville. This isn't a strong place for them to play, especially to start this road game here. And then looking at a couple of players who have been notoriously strong against them. Ryan O'Reilly in his career versus Connor McDavid, we've seen those two battle things out. And then you look at Philip Forsberg here for the Nashville Predators. He's averaged nearly a point in every single game he's played versus the Edmonton Oilers. So I'd look at him for the point tonight. In 22 games versus the Oilers, he has 11 points with 11 goals and 10 assists. He is going to be a difference maker out there tonight. The Preds over 3.5 goals is plus 130. I can't say no to that. Tell me which goalie's going to show up first for Edmonton. I'm sure we see both of them, as the one goalie probably lets in 3 goals in that first period. I just am not buying into it. Yes, Edmonton desperately needs a win, but where does that pressure go? Then the pressure is all on Edmonton. So let's look at the same game shot parlay here for these players. I talked about Philip Forsberg here of the Predators. I do think he gets these shots on goal tonight, 3+ shots on goal for him. And I know Edmonton's been doing a strong job defensively, but I think what we're going to see out of the Preds is them just pushing. So Forsberg, 3+ shots on goal. Ryan O'Reilly, 3. Actually, we can take him down to 2+ shots on goal for the parlay. Draisaitl for the Edmonton Oilers for 3+ shots on goal. And then Connor McDavid for 3+ shots on goal. Now you look at Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the last game versus the Vancouver Canucks. In the first game, they were limited. I don't know what happened to them in that game, but 7 and 8 shots on goal in that last game. Both of these guys are going to come out driving to the net in this game. So 4-leg parlay pays plus 287 on Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid. 3+ shots on goal for each of them, except for Ryan O'Reilly. We can just take down to 2+ shots on goal, but I do think he is impactful. I would look at Forsberg for the point tonight. I would also look at Leon Draisaitl for the point tonight, but I'm pretty sure he is juiced like crazy. I do think these guys come out, though. 2+ points. This game's going to be high scoring. I don't mind the 2+ points. And James, I do agree with you. Over 1.5 in the first period for this game. I think the Predators could get 2 goals themselves. Edmonton just not looking great. Big shout out from Pixar Dave. From Dave, thanks for joining us here it's going to be a great one. Yeah, Cam and Dave. I know. Cam and Gabe last night. Don't think Edmonton's going 0-3. I was on with them quick last night. But I can see it. I really can see it happening, and I'm not laying money on the Predators or sorry, on the Oilers right now with this Predators team looking so strong. The Predators are averaging 33.7 shots on goal per game. They're averaging 2.67 goals per game, allowing 2.67 and 29.3 shots on goal. And we look at the Edmonton Oilers, they're only averaging 2 goals per game on 33.5 shots. So, and 6 goals per game on 24. So their defense needs to stand up tonight, but I'm just not buying into it. The next game on the board, the LA Kings taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Now the Kings are the dog on the road at plus 116, minus 140 here for the Winnipeg Jets. Total of 6.5 at minus 102. It's going to be an interesting one. Connor Hellebuyck in net for the Winnipeg Jets, who at home, he's hard to bet against. You don't want to bet against Connor Hellebuyck. And honestly, I don't either. To start the season, both goaltenders out have had their struggles. Connor Hellebuyck with a 4.21 goals against average. We know they had that game versus Calgary where he did let in a lot of goals. And then on the other side of the puck, we have Cam Talbot here for the LA Kings. Not a goalie that I still am confused why the Kings went with him. He's got a 4.02 goals against average to start the season. I do think this is one where we look at it probably to still stay under that total just because I think Hellebuyck starts to get back into really solid form. I'm worried about this total taking it under, though, with how many goals the LA Kings have been allowing. 5 goals per game allowed on average on 28 shots. So it is coming down to goaltending issues here. But the Winnipeg Jets sitting, sort of around the same 4.5 goals per game allowed in their first couple and 27.5 shots on goal. The Jets are doing a better job at getting those shots, averaging right around 36 shots. So it will be interesting to see if they're still able to get these shots on the LA Kings. And the LA Kings, you guys, if you live bet these hockey games, the Kings get down. This is a team, and I refer to baseball. If you've ever watched the Pittsburgh Pirates in baseball, there are certain teams that never give up and they play to that final whistle, to the final inning. That's the LA Kings in hockey. This is a team, they get down a couple goals. Well, they're not going to hang up the skates and just call it a day out there. They're going to fight till the very end. And we see that. We see them coming back in games. So the minute that other teams go up by a couple of goals, you can count on them on that puck line, plus the 2.5, plus the 1.5, whatever you're getting out there. So definitely look at that. Kopitar here, 3+ shots on goal is coming in at plus 140 here for the LA Kings. He had 3 versus the Canes and 2 versus the Avs. And I like his ability to come out strong and get these shots on Hellebuyck tonight. Now, Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets has been phenomenally strong out there. Looking at him, 4+ shots on goal tonight. Yeah, you have to bump it up to the 4, is minus 120. And Kopitar, really strong out there as well. So both of those guys getting those shots on goal tonight is a nice way to go. But it's the Winnipeg Jets on the money line for me. Can't look any other way. Okay, the next game on the board, we've got 9 to go through, so I think we've got 3 left. The Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. This is a revenge game. There's 2 revenge games on deck tonight. Dallas Stars and Colorado both looking for revenge over their opponents. So Vegas is in play tonight versus the Stars, and then the Seattle Kraken and the Avs. Now we know what happened to the Avs in the playoffs last season with the Seattle Kraken kicking them out. You know this team has this one circled, but we've got a dangerous Kraken team here because the Kraken yet to win any of their games on the season, and this is their home opener. So dangerous matchup. Minus 160 here for the Colorado Avs, plus 132 for the Seattle Kraken. Total 6.5. Juice to that under at minus 128. Grubauer expected in goal here for the Seattle Kraken, and Georgiev expected here for the Colorado Avalanche. So it's kind of like, which way are you going to buy into this? Is that revenge factor going to come out nice and strong for Colorado? Or are we finally going to see the Seattle Kraken be able to pull stuff back together on their home ice? I think we're going to see a combination of the both. I don't think we can see Seattle perform as badly offensively as we've seen them in their first 3 games. They're not even averaging a goal per game. 0.67 goals per game right now is their stat on 29 shots on goal. You look at Colorado, 3 goals per game. This defense is playing incredible. This is my biggest takeaway from what I've seen out of the Avs so far is how strong this defense is. So for Seattle in this one, it's going to be hard for them to be able to all of a sudden turn around their team offensively. I think what I would look at here is Colorado to come out with that revenge in the first period. I want to look at Colorado in the first period. On the money line in the first period, it's juicy though, at minus 152. First period puck line. We have to believe that they will be able to cover that half a goal on that puck line in the first period, and that's at plus 148. So we're getting plus money. We got to hope that Seattle comes out slow out of the gate for that first period. And then anything can happen. And I do think that defense of the Avs will be playing strong in the first period. I do think that while the Kraken want to get back on track, and maybe they will for the rest of the game, that this is one straight out of the gate. I'm just going to look at Colorado for that revenge factor. I think that is going to play more of a role here in this one. Now, if I was to take this game anyway, I would want for the total, I want to take it under, but I can't get there with how many shots on goal the Colorado Avalanche are putting up, because if the Seattle Kraken come out and allow Grubauer to be peppered with those shots on goal, because Colorado's averaging 44.5, we're going to see those goals sink. So I'm not going to touch this total. I lean to the under 6.5. We have seen these teams trend under 10 of the last 11 meetings to the under, but it's scary. And it's really scary because Colorado has done so well getting those shots. The Seattle Kraken have been so poor offensively. They need to get on track at some point. So I'm going to stay off it. Just this home opening factor here for the Seattle Kraken is huge. And if it wasn't for the home opener, and this was just Colorado versus Seattle, I'd take Colorado all day to cover that puck line. But first period, puck line laying the half, and that's all I'm going with. Raven going the opposite way, looking at the Kraken on the puck line in the first period. Best of luck for you there. Okay, next game on the board. And you guys make sure you drop below what you are liking, what you are betting on Twitter and everywhere that you're watching, so everyone else can see what you guys are betting and maybe people want to tell you. So the Carolina Hurricanes and the San Jose Sharks. This one kicks off at 10:41 Eastern, so late game here. The Sharks plus 250 on the money line, minus 315 on the money line for the Carolina Hurricanes. Total of 6.5, juice to that under at minus 128. The Sharks plus 1.5 on the puck line is plus 102. Minus 1.5 on the puck line for the Carolina Hurricanes, minus 122. It's ugly, but give me the Sharks. I really do think this value on the Sharks here, plus 1.5 at plus 102, is a great way to go. The Carolina Hurricanes, I think, are completely overpriced in the situation. And yes, Frederik Andersen in goal. I know the Sharks with Blackwood have had a little bit of relief because Blackwood stood on his head to start the season, but I could see it happening again here. The Hurricanes off a loss, and I love to go against what I keep hearing, and I keep hearing Carolina off a loss. They can't lose this game. It's their game in the bag. They're going to bounce back, just like Edmonton. One of these favorites is falling today between Edmonton and Carolina, and I do believe both of them have the opportunity to lose. We look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They haven't played strong in San Jose here. They're 1-6 in their last 7 in San Jose. And you look at their schedule, and it's a really tough schedule after the Sharks. And yes, the Kraken on deck. The Kraken haven't been the juggernauts we expected out of the gate this season, but then it's the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning on the road. I just think this is an overpriced game here. And I don't want to lay the 1.5 with the Carolina Hurricanes in the game where it could be tighter than this number. The Avs have done pretty good, especially Blackwood, 42 shots on goal. They are allowing on average, allowed only that 2.5 goals. So this is all on Blackwood's head, on his shoulders. He needs to stand tall in this one. If he does, the Sharks have an opportunity of keeping this one tight. I do like them plus the 1.5 on the puck line. I love that sprinkle on the money line at plus 240. I love to see the dogs win, you guys. And so that's where I'd go if you want a safer bet. I would expect these goals to come in. Carolina, yes, such a strong team defensively, and we've seen them holding opponents to 28.3 shots on goal per game. This number is going to drop as the season goes on, you guys. This is a team last year that was really able to limit those shots on goal. So this number is going to go down. I'm sure within a month from now, we're going to say it's 26.1. I do think the Sharks have the ability to get the goals in this game. Over 2.5 for their team totals plus 118. Now, yes, 1 goal per game only averaging 22 shots, but I'm trying to find some value here because taking the favorite and just looking at them doesn't make you money in the long run, you guys. The Ducks, I just don't know. The Carolina Hurricanes lost to the Ducks, and this is where everyone's like, yes, they're going to bounce back. They had the shootout win versus the Kings, so they've played in tight games. Honestly, that game versus the King, with how strong their defense is, year in and year out, you would have expected that one to be a tighter game. So, or a better game for Carolina. I would lean this one going over. I lean the Sharks going over that total. I think this is a 4-3 game. However, the puck ends at the bottom. So plus 1.5 for the Sharks. I'm going to go with a tight one here. Seattle only has 2 goals so far this year in three games. I know Seattle's absolutely struggling to get things done. Mike going with Minnesota on the money line and the LA Kings on the money line. I like that LA Kings one. If the Kings could pull it off, it would be beautiful to see. I just don't know how much faith I have in Cam Talbot there. Okay, the last game on the board, the Dallas Stars taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And I told you 2 revenge games here. The Dallas Stars absolutely looking for revenge after the Vegas Golden Knights kicked them out last season of the playoffs. Now the Vegas Golden Knights at home. This is interesting. This line has flipped. Vegas now the dog at minus 102 plus or minus 118 here for the Dallas Stars, total of 5.5. The Dallas Stars owned, and we're saying owned, Vegas in the regular season last year. They won all 4 of the matchups in the regular season. 2 hours ago, Vegas was minus 113. Now they're minus 102. The Dallas Stars were minus 106, and now they're minus 118. Money is definitely moving on this one, and I think the money is moving in the right direction. The Dallas Stars should be the favorite coming into this one. We look at Vegas 3-0, perfect record to start the season. Now having to face the Dallas Stars. This is going to be a hard one here for them. They beat the Kraken, the Sharks, and the Ducks. They've won each and every one of their games. Interesting. 4-1 to start the season. We know that revenge factor is huge. And Jake Ottinger plays phenomenally strongly in the regular season versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So for me, it's the Dallas Stars on the money line. I'd look at them in the first period as well. Those first period odds probably have changed. I had Dallas in the first period on the money line at minus 116 this morning. First period on the money line right now for them is minus 118. So not much movement there. I still do like it. I expect this one to stay under that total with Aiden Hill and Jake Ottinger both standing on their heads. We know the Dallas Stars have not scored a lot of goals, but they have been getting those shots on goal. They were able to get them versus the St. Louis Blues. And you got to think they've had a lot of time between that first game versus the Blues and this game to take on Vegas to really get a good game plan behind them. Now, the under 12-4-1 last 17 meetings. I don't know, you guys. This one, the total is a little scary at 5.5, taking it to the under with how highly explosive we've seen some of these games go. But the Dallas Stars, you've got to look at this team. They're really strong at limiting their opponent's ability to get those shots on goal. And Vegas has done these exactly the same thing to start the season. Their number coming in at 26.3 shots on goals allowed by their defense, 1 goal per game. It's crazy that they've held all of their opponents to 1 goal. Could this be a 2-1 win that goes to OT and Dallas wins in overtime? Absolutely, it could be. That's why I'm not taking the 60-minute no push there. I would look at Dallas to win. I'm just straight up on that money line. Don't get greedy with that value there. So, you guys, those are all of today's bets. We've got those two shot parlays that I gave out as well. It's time to make some freaking money tonight. I wish you guys all the best in all of your bets, and make sure you check out the Sports Grid app over at the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. You don't want to miss out. There's so much available for free on the app, and you can follow your hosts and get the latest updates, information, everything that's happening. And there's some stellar bets on there that people are making money on day in and day out. So, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me here, Puck It with Joe, on Sports Grid TV. We'll be back tomorrow at 3:30 my time, so 5:30 Eastern. We're going to shoot for that time every single day of the week unless something comes up. Now, turn on your notifications, especially on IG Live here for when they're going to be on the weekend, because on the weekend, trying to get them out before the games kick off, and I'm going to try to get them out to you as early as possible. But as you guys know, 14 games out there on the ice on Saturdays. There's a lot of information that I need from the beat reporters, and that's kind of regards to who is actually going to be seen in that, getting that best ability of who we're going to get out there. So I don't want to give it out too early, but I don't want to give it out too late. So stay tuned, turn on those notifications. But I appreciate it, you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow. The Avs get the draw. That would be interesting. Aiden, the parlays. Okay, let's quickly recap those shots on goal parlays. Shots on goal between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Buffalo Sabres is the first one here. 3+ shots on goal for all of these guys. The 3-leg parlay plays plus 309 over on FanDuel. Tag Thompson here of the Buffalo Sabres for 3+. Braden Point for 3+ of the Lightning, and Braden Hagel here for the Lightning for 3+. So that's plus 309. And we're going to look at the 3-leg parlay between the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators. Philip Forsberg here, 3+ shots on goal. Ryan O'Reilly of the Predators, 2+ shots on goal. Leon Draisaitl, 3+ shots on goal. And Connor McDavid, 3+ shots on goal. That 4-leg parlay comes in at plus 287. So not as much value there. We're looking at 4 players. Ryan O'Reilly, we're taking down to the 2 shots on goal, but still value if all 4 of those legs hit. So, you guys, best of luck. Best of luck to everyone out there. We will be back tomorrow. Have a great night, you